going like this.
The room's
whole
gonna
night.
tip.
It's okay. We're all good.
We can still hear you. Just teasing. Just having fun. When you all are, when you're inviting people, I was telling the group earlier before some of you came in, we are a sensible group.
Yep.
We are a truthful, honest group. When we use the word conservative, people think that we're right-wing radical group. So when you're inviting people, don't even use the word conservative anymore. Use the word sensible. We are a sensible group that brings the truth. And we have speakers on a lot of different subjects. It's not just political. You know, we have speakers on fentanyl awareness, human trafficking, police, legal, health. We cover a lot of subjects. And we bring great speakers in here on all those subjects. We just focus a little bit more on politics when we have a big election coming up. And when we have different events going on in the county that people need to be aware of, we need to put the word out and let people know what's going on there too. But I get very, very, very frustrated when I have people tell me that we are right-wing radical. And I want to meet with the Kansas City Star. I really do. I want to meet with the editor, the main person at the Kansas City Star. I want to talk to them because I can teach them how to make the Star, how they could sell more newspapers.
Yes.
I can teach them to appeal to the masses and not to the few.
Right.
And that is what it's all about. It's not about right-wing or left-wing radical type of things, and we want the truth, and we don't need any of that other, the reason I get on this tangent, I can't remember the name of the online magazine, or who was it?
Defender.
Who was it?
The one that you talked to?
The one that,
The Beacon.
Beacon City Free Beacon.
what was it called?
Kansas City Beacon.
The Beacon, which is a pretty liberal paper or online paper, and they wanted to meet with us. Well, I was golfing when she called, and I was kind of yelling because it was real windy, and she took it wrong. I said, "I'm not yelling at you. I can't hear you, you know." So I said, "Let's meet for coffee." And she goes, "That's great." She thought it was going to be one-on-one. I brought Ron Freeman. I brought Melinda Clark Sand. And I brought Tom Mans. And the four of us sat down with her. Now, how in the world could she write something bad about that interview or about that meeting? Is she going to say we're racist? Is she going to say that we're sadists? The only person of the four that I think she could really knock was me. But she did a good job. She wrote a pretty good article. And it woke me up, and I'm going, that's what we need to do. We need to talk to these people. We need to let them know that we are sensible. Does that make sense? We're sensible. Anyway. Okay, I get off that tangent. Let's get this meeting going. Carolyn, how's your voice?
Really?
Does anybody else want to sing the national anthem? Carolyn said, really? Anybody else? You all right, Ward? All right, let's stand up and we'll do the pledge. Hats off, hands on your heart. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
My hands are already sweating.
Only if everyone sings really, really loud.
Yes, we will, we will.
Okay, here we go.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Did good.
Yeah, and she was nervous. She did a great job. Thank you very much. You notice I haven't ever sang it, you know? Tommy will speak for a few words. A few minutes. I know you got something.
No, that's fine. Afterwards. Well, that's all right. Let's pray. We're going to just invite the presence of the Lord here tonight. And really helps us hear, it helps us communicate, and it helps us keep our heart and attitudes right as well. Amen? You all agree with that?
Absolutely.
Heavenly Father, we come to you this evening in the name of Jesus. We thank you, Lord, that you have sustained us and you've given us life and health and peace. We thank you, Lord, for our free nation. We thank you for all the blessings you've given us. And so we pray tonight that your presence of your Holy Spirit, will be here tonight, and that we, in all of what we do, will honor you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
All right. Who in the room is sensible?
You all are, yes,
And I made that point.
yes, yes.
I got a couple of different texts from people I want to read tonight. Number one, you all know who Dan Nash is. Dan Nash has spoken here like 3 different times on human trafficking. He's the one that does the education for the police forces on human trafficking. And this group has paid for 2 different classes. One at Kansas City Police Academy, and one time here in Lee Summit. We have educated about 200 first responders and policemen, and I don't know how many we have saved so far, but we've saved a lot, because each one of these policemen that are learning are doing their jobs, and they're being able to ask questions and look for things that they weren't aware of actually before. I've been talking to Dan a couple of times lately, because I wanted him to come speak again, just to update us on what's going on. And what you all probably don't realize is I got 3 different Ziploc bags with money in it. One is a donation from a friend, told me to use it however I wanted to use it. I haven't used it yet, because I don't know what to use it for. The other Ziploc is $1,700 that we had left over from another, the time we paid for our second human trafficking class. I only needed $1,600 that night, and if you remember correctly, the guy running for governor down in Joplin, Chris Wright, wrote a check for $1,600. And we raised $1,700 that night. So we had enough for the class, and then I got money left over. So I told Dan Nash, I said, we got $1,700, and I guarantee you we can raise enough to do it in Blue Springs. And he said, let's do it. So he also wanted me to tell the group illegal massage parlors across the U.S. have been targeted in major human trafficking busts. Totals up to, this was this morning, 87 adult victims, 1 juvenile victim, 74 arrests, 7 firearms, 33 search warrants, 26 illicit massage businesses, 1 ATM currency not counted yet, 1.09 million seized in current U.S. currency. This is in 19 states, 157 police agencies in 36 hours. This has happened recently. I asked him, if he could come and give us an update. And he said, I've texted him 2 or 3 times, and I said, I'm not pushing it in any way. I just thought maybe we could have an update. Any first Monday, you have at least 10 minutes, let me know. And he said, sounds great. Just don't have anyone for today. Megan and I are in Alaska. Darren is in Florida. Daniela is in Tennessee. We're a bit spread out this week. And I said, wow, we are so proud of you. So they're doing incredible things. And I know we've worked with them a lot up here, and we want to continue. We did Lee's Summit. We had 110 people at the Lee's Summit training facility. Tom and Ron and I were up front, and we introduced We the People, and we also let them know that We the People funded that class. So, I want them to know that what we're doing and how we're doing it. So, Dan's wanting to do Blue Springs, so we'll get that going. There's another one too. Oh yeah. The group down in Warrensburg, Saturday night they had the Elks Lodge had a
Drag show.
What it's called? Drag queen show. And the mayor of Warrensburg is a fraternity brother of mine. So I put it on Facebook and I put his name on there so he would get tagged.
Good.
And I said, shame on Warrensburg and shame on the Elks Lodge.
Yeah.
And
Because children were invited, right?
there was a lot of people that responded on that, and I appreciate that. But they wanted to let me know, they were promoting they had a carnival type of a deal to compete with the other show. They had 400 people there, and our friend Doug Billings spoke there, and they said it was just a terrific day, and they wanted me to let you all know that also. Let's see. I wanted to pass along to the group that yesterday's Family Fun Fest in Warrensburg and alternative activities, it was a smashing success. Around 400 people came out to enjoy all the vendors, foods, trucks, the ice cream classic car show. That village was there. Doug Billings was there, gave an uplifting and encouraging message. I'm sure he did. You know he's running for Kansas governor, don't you? Our buddy Doug Billings is running for governor of Kansas. And our worship service with complete band, our worship service with complete band, and thank everyone for their support for us, please. And honors to the fathers and veterans. So, and just,
Who sponsored that, the alternative? Was it the Johnson County We the People?
It's the church and it on the
it
other
was
side.
the church,
Oh, the church.
it was the church down there. Yes, they go to the We the People of Johnson County. They're very active in the We the People of Johnson County, but it wasn't We the People of Johnson County that did the whole thing. It was a church down there. So we're doing things, and we're active, and we're making things happen. I just want to make sure that everybody in the room is active also. I want to make sure that everybody in the room is talking it up and spreading the word and letting everybody know what's going on. We do have, is Brad Lemon here today? Brad here? I don't see Brad. He's one of my speakers tonight. I don't see him. Which is okay. We got plenty tonight, trust me. Donna, Ashley, Chuck, that's me. Scott, come on up front if you would. We have been meeting, and we're hoping, and I kind of cheated a little bit. I talked a little bit before 7 about this, but we're wanting this group, we're wanting to make some changes. We're wanting to spread the love. We're wanting to make it we're wanting everybody to get to know each other. We're wanting everybody to make it more community instead of just coming up here and having 3 speakers and doing all that. We want it to be fun. And if it's fun, maybe we can get a lot more people to come and still get the same message across, right? So, I don't know what you want to say, but go ahead and say.
Well, I didn't have any prepared remarks other than I think one of the strengths of this group is that everybody gets really focused on what's going on in DC and what's going on in Congress. And I don't know about you, but how often do you write Emmanuel Cleaver or even Eric Schmidt or Josh Hawley and never get anything other than a form letter? I can call or text my council people. I can call or text Sean and he'll respond to me. My county rep, or even state senators and house reps, and I know Carolyn's works overtime to be really responsive to her constituents. I mean, that's where the rubber meets the road. If we didn't learn anything from COVID, it's the local tyrants can make your life a living what, and we got what we deserve, and to the extent that Lee Summit, we thought was a conservative committee, turns out we were being governed by a school board and a city council that pretty much leaned left. So the goal is to get engaged. One of my current pet projects right now, there's a developer called Millhouse Development. They are from Indiana. They've developed, and I don't have the number memorized, but I think something like 3,000 apartments in Kansas City alone, and they're in like 8 different states. They're a big behemoth developer, not exactly known for their quality, and they're kind of known for steamrolling over the public. There was a big fight with them in the city of Shawnee where they wanted to do a land swap, put apartments on a park, and move the park somewhere else. There were several neighborhood meetings where they misrepresented a number of things. One of the city council people, this is recorded, I don't want to get in trouble, but one city council person went to these meetings anonymously and called them out on some of their misrepresentations on the dais on the 20th. This was in a preliminary development plan. So they're wanting 7 apartment buildings at 150 in Ward. This is an area that's already seeing a lot of development, a lot of multifamily. There's a lot of concerns in the neighborhood about the quality of the development. The 20th is June 20th, or no, I'm sorry, June 17th, the third Tuesday. There will be a public hearing and people can make comments. So even if you're getting up and speaking is not your thing, just having eyeballs, when they're sitting out there and they see people sitting out there. The last time they were looking to spend a bunch of tax dollars on a DEI committee and a belonging coordinator and a bunch of other stuff. We packed that council member chambers. And even though the DEI people had their little contingent, we outnumbered them at least 2-1, and the whole thing went down. Now, so I'm not saying that every time you show up you're gonna get your way, but butts in the chairs and eyes on the people at the front of the dais does help to move the needle. And I hear over and over and over again, this will be, if this one passes, this will be the 17th apartment complex in Lee Summit that's gotten incentives. And in this particular one, they're asking for 42% incentives. And yet, every developer of these apartments gets tax breaks while the rest of our taxes go up. Somebody's got to pay for these city services. So from my vantage point, I think it's time to take a stand and say enough already. So if you are a Lee Summit resident, and even if you're not, even if you want to, I've been going to some independence meetings for a friend of mine that's making another fight. But just eyes on the room and any public comments. Also, we do have an email list, and it's been a while since I passed this around. Some of you may already have it. But it is in alphabetical order by last name. One of the things we'd like to do, especially heading into local elections in April 2026, is to target our messages to the people that actually care about them. So if you're in the Lee Summit School District, you don't care about the Blue Springs election, or if you're in Blue Springs, you don't care about Elk Grove. So what I've been trying to do is go into the email list and put a school district tag on anybody that would like that, and then if there is a call to action, I can send you an email that actually makes sense for you as opposed to sending out one mass email. So I will pass this around. If you find your name on there, just put down what your school district is and in this box over here, and then I will update it. And if for some reason your information is not correct, you can put that on there or order from you. So that's all I got.
Perfect, nice job. And she's wonderful. She does
We absolutely need Donna on our team, on all endeavors, all projects.
Yes.
For those of you in the room that don't know, I am Sean Smith, legislative aide at the county. I'm here speaking a little bit on behalf of him. He's out of town visiting family for a few weeks, and he just wanted me to give an update. First and foremost, June 30th, so the end of this month, is the last day to register for the senior tax credit program, the property tax credit. I do this every day and now my mind is frazzled when I'm talking about it. Go figure. But basically, if you apply before June 30th, you get 2024 as your baseline year. Any applications after June 30th are going to be for 2025. I know our property taxes are a huge mess, and we're still looking at the Supreme Court. When is that case going to get scheduled, as well as some of the changes that county administration has said that they will hopefully engage in. The way this credit works is once you apply, the credit is attached to your parcel. So if for any reason there's a rollback and your value goes down, you have a natural disaster, or our housing market crashes and your home value actually decreases, your credit is attached to the parcel. Every single year it's going to update to whatever the most updated value is. If you don't trust that, you can always go apply again. It will basically force the paperwork to get done. But that is one thing. I think the collections department is doing a good job on that. I really, really commend the way that they're running the program. Send people my way pretty much all week. I'm meeting people for coffee, going to their homes if I know you're comfortable enough, that kind of thing. Just anywhere we can go, a library, let's get applied, and please, please, please do it online. I don't want to throw anyone under the bus or make any accusations, but I am seeing a very striking pattern that if people have applied and they're lost in the system or not even entered at all, they applied on paper, whether it was even in the courthouse in person or via mail. So I really encourage you to apply online. Let's get it done. Do it with me. It takes 10 minutes. You just need your driver's license, a utility bill, and also bring your trust agreement if your home is in a trust.
And where's Betty Arthur?
Mandy Arbaca, I don't know. I honestly don't know. I hope that everyone is safe, and I don't have the deets on that. Sean is one of 2 Republicans, so I don't always have those personal details. Yeah.
So once you file for that tax credit,
Yes.
you don't have to do it annually.
You do not have to apply every year. Let's say the court rules in favor of the state tax commission and all of our values go down, you do not have to apply again. You also do not have to renew it. So that is one good thing. Also, no Social Security requirement anymore. You only have to be age 65. Thank you to our good reps like Carolyn in there that made that choice, which is great. Lastly, on the county side, the county finally is discussing budget concerns. They're going to vote on a budget a week from today on June 9th, and there's a public hearing at 1:30. So if you guys know any outside agencies, any of you guys that have been personally affected by us not having a budget, I really encourage you to come in 1:30. It's during the budget committee. They'll hear a public hearing on the budget, and then hopefully later at 3 o'clock, they'll actually vote on it in the legislative session. Lastly, on the We the People side, not necessarily on the county side, just to kind of piggyback off the same things that Donna and Chuck were talking about, in August, We the People is hosting a big fish fry. For people like Scott, we'll have hot dogs too if you don't like fish. But really, it's just kind of remembering, lately, I'll go out and I'll talk about We the People, and they're like, oh yeah, you guys are that school board group, right? Or, oh yeah, you help candidates. And honestly, we're so much more than that. To me, yes, if you're a political candidate, you probably want to be in here and get to know everyone, but it's you guys that make the group continue to go on. I remember when I was really upset, and I love so many of you in the room now, but I was really upset over COVID. I really didn't know anyone. I didn't know my neighbors, and my husband and I were looking around like, we moved to the wrong place. There's not a single person that is like-minded, and then I found We the People. We just want to get that energy back. We don't have our jobs telling us that we have to get a shot. We don't have masks on our babies anymore. And it kind of just feels like we all just like, oh, the fight's over, Trump won, we're done. And we're not. We have so much more to do. So with that, I'll pass it on to you.
What's the date of that?
August 4th.
Fourth.
Okay.
So if you see the flyer, we made the correction on that.
Oh, okay.
Question?
What's the website for the taxes?
Just go to jacksongov.org. jacksongov.org. And in the search, if you just even type senior program, senior citizen, it'll take you to a few things that will pop up, including the program. Also the quad payment program, which unfortunately for quad payment, your home cannot be in a trust for that. But if you want to break your bill into 4 different payments instead of 1 at the end of the year, you can do that as long as you're 65 and the home's not in a trust.
So Sean Smith is a really great legislator, and behind every great legislator is a great legislative aide.
Yes.
So thank you, Ashley. So
She's having coffee with people all the time.
yeah, he doesn't sleep. No coffee, or all coffee all the time. Back in April, we had an election in Lee Summit, and it didn't go well for us. And let's talk about what happens, what the political winds look like. So in November, we win the national election, and everyone goes, kind of like George Bush in Iraq, mission accomplished. It wasn't mission accomplished. And a lot of people that have been fighting since 2020 against COVID at the local, in the local space, backed off. We lost by thousands of votes. It showed that there was definitely a staying home factor, and that's normal. It happens. Their side is energized. They're the ones, just like we were after 2020 when Biden won,
we're like, what's the next election that we can go vote in and make a difference? I'm voting in that one. I'm getting involved. It happens to be at the local level. Let's vote, 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 vote. And now it's their turn. It's the left side going in and saying, I'm going to vote in every election, and we're going to turn out conservatives at local elections. They might not do it at the state level, but at local elections they will, because we get apathy. We think that everything's done. And so what we want to do is we are a community, and like Trick said, if you go to a church, you listen to a sermon and you leave, you don't feel part of that church, right? And we're really a community, and I've been coming here for years, and usually the moment it's done, I have to get up and leave. It's like, all right, I gotta leave. I got a kid to pick up. I got kids to put to bed. I've got all these things. I need to go. And I don't talk to people. Plus, I'm kind of like an introvert. I'm an extroverted introvert.
Yeah.
So I'm the person that if you're on an elevator, I'm like, please, I don't want to have that conversation. Right? Like, let's just ride on the elevator. But once we're talking, once we're talking, then I'm good. Okay? So we really want to be a community. If we want to change our community, we have to be a community. And so this fish fry that we're starting here in August is our first opportunity to go in and say, let's connect. Let's become neighbors in the greater Jackson County, the Taxon County, as my 8-year-old called it. We were out driving around looking at taxes, or at houses, and we were talking about property tax. Like, why would we want to move somewhere else? It's like, oh, taxes. It's like, oh, why do they tax so much? And so I'm explaining to my 8-year-old what taxes are like, and he's like, oh, there's a lot of taxing in this county. I'm like, I look at my wife, I go, oh, this is a Facebook post, Taxon County. So we don't want to live in Taxon County, right? But we do live here, but we can live here and make it not Taxon County. And we have to do that by change. We have to change our school board. Taxes are passed at the school board, city council, county legislature, cities in Kansas City, Missouri. We have got to make a difference. We have to make a cultural difference, which the cultural difference happens where? School boards. That's where the cultural difference gets changed. It also happens when we're going to do DEI at the city level, right? So we want to go in, engage the community, get us involved so that when we're all in this together, when we're all in the trenches together, we're going to go get our neighbor, lock arms with our neighbor that doesn't come to We the People, and get them to vote, get them to turn out. Because when you're looking at elections, you go in and you say, there's usually a conservative side and a liberal side. And who does the door knocking? Who puts signs out? Who makes the donation? It's usually not the people in the middle that just show up election day and say, I don't know, 1 and 2 on the list. It's the people that are more engaged. And we need to get, going into next April election, it's going to come before you know it, and then we're going to have primaries also in 2026. We need to already, right now, today, start recruiting the people who are going to be door knocking, putting out signs, donating, putting out social media, becoming candidates, and we do that as a community. So I'm looking forward to I'm not looking forward to the fish, but I am looking forward to the fish fry and Kirkland's best beef hot dogs.
I told you all a story earlier. This lady, I did a fish fry for my class reunion, and this lady says she hates fish, and she can't believe I'm frying fish. She came up to me later that night, and she said, I ate 8 pieces of fish.
We do like a challenge where I'm up at the table and I give it a thumbs up. All right.
I don't like fish, and it's okay. It's not wonderful, but.
Yeah, the other thing that we're talking about, and we're still talking, and so we're totally in open book in terms of suggestions. We'd like to do a business expo or get to know the conservative businesses on the table over there. You haven't asked, is anybody new today?
You may hear first timers?
Yeah, well, second time.
First timers back there, and they're young too.
You're welcome. Okay, for the,
You guys brought the average age down a year.
Yeah.
so for the fairly new and uninitiated, one of the things we have is what Chuck initially called the Book of Business. So when you're here, you can go through there. There are a number of conservative businesses in there with business cards. You can take a business card, take it home. My response to that was, well, what happens 15 days from now when I need a plumber? I don't have access to the book. So it's now an email list, or not, it's an online directory, not online, it's in a website. But I do keep it updated in Excel and send it out once a month after every meeting when I get new cards. The goal being, we want to do business with people who support our values. And so one of the things that maybe, I think I find is you're going to spend $7,000 to $10,000 on a new AC unit. Are you just really going to take a name off of an Excel spreadsheet? Are you going to ask around, get recommendations, that type of thing? So I thought, this would be a great opportunity for us to get to know the businesses amongst us. And so the more, because people ultimately do business with people. So we're looking to do a business-focused kind of event in September. But if anybody has ideas, suggestions, I've got a call into Johnson County. We, the people in Johnson County, Kansas, has done this the last 2 years, and it's been very successful. They also have a lot of really good food businesses in their list, and so they bring food. We don't really have that many other than Ray's Cafe, so I don't know. We need to recruit some people with some good cinnamon rolls and some good desserts. Anyway, if you know good food, conservative businesses, get them in here, and we'll help get them some more business.
So on the Book of Business, I am the quintessential customer of the Book of Business. I have lived in my house for 10 years, and I have replaced every appliance, AC, septic. My pool liner is out right now, so I need pool liner. We've been hit by a tornado, so we've had roof, we've had everything imaginable. And every time, I'm not handy. I replaced some steps on my deck, which was wow, now we're not going to fall through the deck. But every time I go, who am I going to call? I have no idea. But I know who I want to give my business to. I don't want to go randomly. We had a leaking skylight. And what did I do? I went to the Book of Business and found a roofing company in the Book of Business who came out and did our skylight. So we really, for people like myself who can barely screw in a light bulb, sometimes I need to be able to find an assistant to be able to help me with that. So.
We've done business expos in the past. I've been in business for a lot of years, and we've done business expos in the past where we rent a big room in a hotel, and each business has a table, and they do their, they put all their information on their table. And let's say we had 20 businesses in here, 20 tables in here, which is easy to do. And each one of those businesses invites 20 people. Hey, come to the business expo. There's going to be 20 other businesses. Then we got 400 people walking around in here, from 1 to 5 or whatever time it is, getting to know all the businesses in our Book of Business. I think it's a great idea, and we are going to put a flyer together next week for that, and we'll go from there. But we're going to become a fun community type of a group, and not pounding all the time. We'll pound, but just not all the time. I did have the president of Fraternal Order of Police, something must have come up, and that's okay. I understand all that kind of stuff. So I'm sure he'll call me tonight or tomorrow. We have what we're going to do, and we're starting tonight, is we're gonna have 3 different businesses do a 2 to 3 minute infomercial on their business. We're gonna do that every month also, to where someone can talk about their business in front of 150 people. And it is a wonderful thing for the business owner to be able to introduce themselves to all these people. We're gonna do that tonight. But first of all, just to, I invited Lance Gildenschneider to give us an update on fentanyl awareness. If you got a few minutes, buddy, I would appreciate it. I know you all know Lance and Storm Gildenschneider and what their family has gone through, and you know, you hate to lose a child, but to lose 2 children to fentanyl is just unbelievable. And everybody in this room agrees with you. You know that.
We do know that. We appreciate it greatly.
But what it did, I mean, you know, Storm was already going crazy on fentanyl awareness with a website and Moms Against Fentanyl or whatever it was called. But she's just done an incredible job. And, you know, 3 years later, they lose another son. So the pain is unimaginable. And for them to get up and fight like they're fighting is the most admirable thing.
Don't get me emotional.
I know. That's too bad. I got
Well, thank you, Chuck, and thank you for the opportunity. Storm wanted to be here tonight. She's been working half days since Hunter died, since our second son died, and today was her first day back at full-time at work. She was able to work from home, but she had to go back into the office today, and she came home, she didn't feel real well. So she asked me to come and just speak for both of us. So that's why I'm here by myself tonight. For those of you, many of you know our journey that we've been on, and for those that don't, I will just explain it. Our journey into becoming advocates against the fentanyl epidemic began approximately 3.5 years ago when we received that late night call that no parent wants to hear. Our 32-year-old boy was dead. For weeks after that low point, I did not know if my wife would ever be able to get out of bed and resume normal life. It was only by the grace of God and God's power that lifted us up and set us on this journey to save the lives and prevent other parents from suffering the tremendous pain that we had thrust upon us. But yet our pain was not over. On March 5th of this year, my wife received another devastating call that our youngest boy did not show up at work. There was no answer at his door when the Olathe police did a welfare check. We rushed over there only to find out that he was dead also. After that, God moved us from being advocates to being warriors in this fight. Storm has contacted every state senator, every state representative at the Capitol. In April, we spent the day at the Capitol speaking to Democrats and Republicans, as well as Storm and Mary Hale. A big thank you to Carolyn Cade, thank you, Carolyn, for making that day successful and possible. And all the other elected officials that catered lunch for us and our guests and gave us a room to spend the day. Thank you very much for that. Storm and I were not just there to share our story, but to bring awareness to the urgency of addressing this poison. We were introduced on the House floor and later the Senate floor. Thank you again, Carolyn, and thank you, Joe Nicola. Many senators and House representatives came to our room to speak to us about our cause throughout the day. Many people were really very engaged. One very engaged person was our state treasurer, who said he would help us in any way he could. In April, Storm went, these are some of the things that we have been doing since our second son died. In April, Storm went to D.C. to attend a Congressional Women's Luncheon for Melania Trump, and the next day, brunch with Speaker Mike Johnson, with the goal of bringing more awareness to this cause. I could not go because the key word was Congressional Women's Luncheon. We attended the Platte County Lincoln Reagan Days dinner where Storm had a productive conversation with Attorney General Andrew Bailey about President Trump's executive order naming drug cartels as terrorists. She asked if drug cartels are terrorists, then are the underlings on the streets that sell their drugs also terrorists? He looked a little perplexed, and his reply was, that's an interesting concept. He said, I'll look into that, and we'll get back with you. We were later asked to speak at the Clay County GOP meeting, which after we spoke, an attorney there offered to prepare 17 affidavits to go to Bobby Kennedy, 17-member commission formed by President Trump's executive order. Every 11 minutes, an American dies from fentanyl poisoning. Surveys show 13 to 17 years of age. Out of 13 to 17 years of age, only 32% of the children are aware there's fentanyl in fake pills. People are tricked into getting addicted. They don't intend to become fentanyl addicts. They're tricked. DEA lab tests reveal 6 out of every 10 pills contain a lethal dose. In 2022, 1 out of every 5 overdose deaths in Kansas City were under the age of 15 years of age. The stigma that goes along with a drug addict must be overcome because it's not a recreational drug. This is poison, and it's deliberately flooding our nation. Dealers lace fentanyl in marijuana, pain pills. That's how Hunter got addicted, with some fake pain pills. He had no intention of becoming a fentanyl addict. Candies and even children's Skittles to secretly addict people. So how did this happen? 4 years of open borders have allowed China to work with drug cartels to pour this into our country. Storm and I spoke at one of Congressman Mark Alford's fentanyl forums in Cass County several years ago. He said after 4 months of congressional classified hearings, what he got out of it was China wants all Americans dead. A former border agent has told us China has a large number of scientists on the northern border of Mexico working with drug cartels to make fentanyl more potent and deadly. China has weaponized this poison to destroy the United States from within. If this drug has not affected you or your life as of yet, it will unless we act. Chinese fentanyl is only one piece of the puzzle to bring down the U.S., and it grows larger and more deadly day by day. Just one example of how the fentanyl crisis affects not only American lives, but the very fabric of our civil and financial stability of our country. These corrupt activities stand to disrupt our banking system, potentially affecting retirement accounts, Wall Street, 401ks, etc. There are many things we can do. Some involve I think I skipped over something. I wanted to talk about where's the page? I wanted to talk about what China, I wanted to talk about one of the largest banks in the United States. One of the largest banks in the United States is at the center of a money laundering scandal. The Senate Finance Committee recently detailed involvement of TD Bank, which is Toronto Dominion, which is kind of interesting. That's a Canadian bank, which is on our northern border. Trump has issued tariffs against them, and one of the demands on his tariff was stop the fentanyl from coming across the border. TD Bank's employees in a money laundering scheme of $474 million in cash from fentanyl sales in the U.S. by criminal Chinese syndicates, which was acknowledged recently by TD Bank's settlement. TD Bank has been fined approximately $3 billion. TD Bank admitted to this in court documents. TD Bank also failed to monitor $18.3 trillion, not billion, trillion dollars of questionable customer activity. TD Bank will close 40 banks by summer. This is just one of examples of how fentanyl affects not just Americans, but also the very fabric of our civil and financial stability in our country. These corrupt activities stand to disrupt our banking system, potentially affecting retirement accounts, Wall Street, 401ks, etc. The Chinese government happens to have the same goals as globalists. Our globalist politicians have deliberately allowed this to happen to our nation. The globalist goal for total world control justifies the death of so many Americans. Their view is to the end justifies the means. This should be obvious to Americans interested in the truth. The border plan, the open border plan, opened our country to the worst drug cartels in Mexico, China, Chinese military nationalists, child traffickers, sex traffickers, and criminals and known terrorists. There are things that we can do, and it involves our elected officials and tough laws. Some could be as follows. Number one, a person in the sale or distribution of fentanyl will face mandatory drug sentencing for 20 years. Number two, a person involved in the sale and distribution of fentanyl resulting in the death of another faces a charge of a mandatory second-degree murder. These are already on the books, but they don't enforce them. Drugs and child trafficking are tied together. 3, sexual exploitation of a minor child would receive a minimum sentence of 20 years in prison with no chance of parole. Number 4, the sexual exploitation of a minor child that involves the death of a child would be considered a Class A first-degree murder with a potential sentence of death for the perpetrator. When the children are used up, this is heartbreaking. When the children are used up, they harvest their organs. After they sexually use them, sexually abuse them, and when they're all used up, they just kill them and harvest their organs. This is evil at the worst form. 5, the sale of pill pressing machines to the general public, such as sold on Amazon, should be restricted and or closely monitored. Why does the average person even need to buy a pill pressing machine for $49 off of Amazon unless he's going to make illegal drugs? 6, a bill brought forth in Kansas that would force social media platforms to report illegal drug deals on their platforms to the Department of Justice. I like that. That's a no-brainer. I don't know why we haven't done that years ago. Number 7, mandatory educations in schools educating our children of the real and life-threatening facts about fentanyl. Which is more important, to teach them DEI or teach them how to stay alive? 8, but the number one way to stop the deaths of hundreds of thousands of Americans is to get those that deal these drugs off the street. And I've addressed that in 1 through 4. We are often asked how to help, how people can help. The number one way is to demand our elected officials engage and act with the strongest legislation possible. We cannot afford to do any less than eliminate drugs from our culture. When engaging with our elected officials, remember, we are not their subject, and we do not do as they want us to do. As our Constitution was created, that we the people are in charge, and those elected are to do our will. The number one way to help is to write them, call them, engage with them when you see them. They respond to large numbers. Thank you. And one final update. I've been working very closely with the Olathe Police Department, and not to give a lot of details, but we're very close to making an arrest on the person that murdered our son Hunter. Thank you very much.
It's a very, very tough subject, very difficult subject. And Lance, you and Storm, I can't give you enough praise. You guys are knocking it out of the park, and the strength that it must take for Storm too. I mean, it's just incredible. I lost a son 3.5 years ago to a drunk driver. And it's very, very, very difficult to lose a child and all the grief and everything that you go through. But to lose a child from something like fentanyl, not once but twice, is just incredible. So the things that you all are doing is unbelievable. And each and every one of us can get involved in our own special way. Definitely educate children. Definitely get involved in any discussions that you can. Open discussions about drugs. Just crazy. But thank you. Go ahead.
I just also want to thank Carolyn for giving us
Yeah.
a House resolution recognizing us for our fight against fentanyl.
Yeah.
And also Senator Joe Nicola for the same from the Senate. I want to thank you all very
Yeah.
much. That was
Fantastic. We are going to do things a little differently than we have in the past, and I think you guys are going to like it. But we're going to have 3 different businesses give us a 2 or 3 minute infomercial on their business tonight. And I've asked Melinda Clark-Sand to tell us about her legal. And I'm going to ask people that are very involved in this group to be the first speakers. Just because they're so involved, I want to give them the opportunity to talk about their businesses first. Melinda, you want to come up?
And the redhead's coming with me.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry, Chris. I invited them to come up and talk about their legal team, and you know 3 of the 4, but I'll let them talk about it too, and just about your business. We're going to have you up to talk about something else later.
We are. Just about the business right now. So as you all know, or maybe most of you remember, how Chris and I came together during COVID, the debacle of COVID, when so many healthcare professionals were losing their jobs because they didn't want to take an experimental shot. I'll just say that. That's the nicest way I can put it. And Chris and I, we were really the only 2 attorneys in the state of Missouri that would fight for people and basically didn't care about what, the opinions of others or even what type of negative consequences may come our way as small business owners, right? From that point in time, we forged a really close friendship. Again, when you're in the trenches together and you're the only 2 lawyers apparently crazy enough to fight against what we consider to be tyranny, right? We just got really close. And so at that point, I started to realize that I want to be in business no matter what we decide to do. I want to be in business with like-minded people that I believe that their core values match with my core values, right? And that's in every way. Spiritually, what we just talked about with the types of policies and things that we're fighting against with our laws, all of that stuff, we have to be lined up. And that's kind of where right side law, how right side law came to be, I'll say that. The third partner that you all know very well, Tracy Chapel-Vick, she ran for Jackson County prosecutor in 2020 and 2024, correct? Mm-hmm. So she really worked hard. You all gave her a lot of support, but she received support all throughout the county, honestly. And she really tried her best to get in there. So she's the third partner, and then we have a 4th partner we haven't met yet, but we will get her here. Her name is Natasha Scruggs. She is the youngest of our group. She is a millennial. I guess she's a millennial. I don't know. She's like 33, 34, whatever that is. So now all of a sudden we take photo shoots And we get makeup, and she's, there's a social media account that she actually posts to on a regular basis. And it's good, you've been looking at it. So, now we got everything's coming together, and we all love the Lord, and we give him the utmost, we're so grateful. We give him so much gratitude for the way that he brings the right people together at the right time. I'm not trying to sound cheesy, but we are the right side law firm, but real quickly, I wanted Chris to share with you a story that she has a case, testimony regarding a case recently that we handled for a woman, an older woman who has Medicare, and we just want you all to be aware of how the government will try to take away your settlement, your personal injury settlement. So you're injured, someone runs into you and hurts you, and if you are on Medicare, which probably almost everyone is at a certain age, they want to take your money from you. So Chris fought against that and won, so I want her to talk about that.
Good job.
Yeah, as hopefully none of you have actually had to face this and been involved in a car accident, but more and more we know that happens to a lot of us. And so generally you think about, well, the attorney is just there to help you get the best settlement they can because the insurance company is only going to offer you peanuts as to what you deserve. But on top of that settlement, what most people may not realize is that the medical bills that you may have, the doctors, the hospitals, even the insurance companies can place a lien on your settlement saying, okay, if you're going to get money back in a settlement, we want our share of that because we paid for your medical bills. So Medicare and Medicaid both have a federal law that says they can get reimbursed for whatever settlement money that you may get. And so what we can do to assist with that is help get those liens reduced. Sometimes there's just a standard amount that they will agree to negotiate down to, but in this particular case, we got Medicare to say we don't want any money back. And what that does is that puts more money into the actual into their pocket so that they can use that for other needs that they may have. Because, there's lost wages sometimes if you're working, but a lot of people just don't realize that the attorney can also assist with that in order to get the maximum amount available that we can do. And so that's our goal. It's not about money that comes back to our firm. It's money that goes into your pocket, and so that's what we strive for.
What I tell you all, these are our lawyers. These are we the people's lawyers. They have worked really hard ever since I've known them. They've been working really hard through COVID, but they're also injury attorneys. My daughter had a car wreck about 3 weeks ago, and it wasn't a bad car wreck, but it did total the car that she was in. She wasn't really injured much, but she did get a little bit, she had to go get checked out and all that kind of stuff. And she called me from the accident, which is kind of scary anyway, but she said, who do I call? Who are you going to call?
I was their second call. I was their first call.
I said, well, you call Tara because Tara's your insurance agent. And you call Melinda Clark Sand because she's our attorney. She's we the people's attorney. So those were the 2 calls that Mallory made that day. And, it's just nice to know the person that has the same thoughts and beliefs that you have that you can work with on a regular basis. Our second person is my favorite insurance person, Tara.
Oh, great.
Tara works with the group a lot, and she is mine and Becky's insurance person for our companies and our home and auto and everything. So
Mine too.
there you go. I wanted her to talk about her insurance company.
Okay, I'm Tara Lamb, and I work for Associate Services and Insurance in Green Valley, also more commonly known probably as ASI, because it's a lot less of a mouthful. We have been around, our 3 owners are all very conservative, very involved in their churches and different political things in the community. They started the company about 1992. I've been there since 2013, so I'm one of the old people there now. We are an independent insurance agency, so we work with, instead of just being State Farm or Allstate or American Family, we work with a multitude of companies. We have, technically in our office, we have like 4 different departments. Our personal lines, which is what most of you guys are gonna run into. It's your home, your auto, the things that you as just an individual need insured. That's really where I kind of cut my teeth at. So one of my big jobs now is I work with the agency in working with different companies. So kind of transitioned a little bit out of the sales piece of it into that. I pretty much do everything though. Our running joke is that my title should be chaos coordinator. So anyhow, so we have the commercial lines department. We have our commercial lines department, which is where I spend a lot of my time. It's if you own a business, small businesses, larger businesses, work comp, general liability, property. We have the gun club here is one of my accounts. We have a life and health department. Health insurance is, it's a mess. So for the most part, we do small groups. We can't do like individual health insurance, all of that. So, and then lastly, we have a specialty department, which makes us really unique, and we work with those guys work with firearms accounts. So they have a lot of large manufacturers, small gun shops, ammo. A lot of times, if somebody makes this piece of plastic that's going to eventually go into a shotgun shell or something, then the underwriters are like, oh my God, we don't want anything to do with it. So it kicks it into some specialty markets. So that's something just very unique about us. And kind of how that got started is we just, one of the guys got an account and found the markets and ran with it. And we've got like 6 of them over there now that do that full time. Maybe you think of something. I just drew a complete blank. But we are licensed in all 50 states. Majority of what we do is here in Missouri and Kansas and the Kansas City area, but we're constantly working on accounts, other places too. So just because we're not limited there, but
where you located?
Oh, Grand Valley, kind of there. Where the bus barn is, Casey's, Snake Bank. If you know where Teresa's apartments are, we're right next door. No, we're right off the Eagles Parkway, just down from the high school and all. So since we are in all 50 states, we do a lot over the phone and all of that. We try to make it as easy as for you and to make sure that you have the best coverage for the best price for what you need. I am going to quickly say my public service announcement. There's a lot of changes going on in the homeowners property markets right now. So I just, whenever I've had a captive audience, I'm like telling individuals, look at your deck pages. Yep. That piece of paper that you get in the mail that you never pay attention to, just whatever. A lot of the companies are making some changes to your roofs, your deductibles, where you may have thought you had a $1,000 deductible. Well, all of a sudden in that fine print, they've changed that so it's a 2% deductible. And what the heck does that mean? So definitely encourage you to read that. A lot of them too, once your roof is a certain age, they're going to, your roof is no longer replacement cost, it's cash value. So, and what they're legally required to do is to send you this copy in the mail, but I don't want to read my own, just being honest. It's one more thing. So I do encourage you to take a look at those, glance at that. If you ever have any questions about it whatsoever, my favorite part of the job is the teaching and, going over that kind of thing to educate the consumers and all. So always more than happy to take a look at it. I always tell people, like, the worst case scenario, if we review your policies and worst case scenario, you've got a good price with wherever you've got. But I've had another set of eyes to take a look at it and maybe talk about some coverages and different changes that have gone on. So that's
very good.
Yes, my number is in the book of business.
We're going to talk about each one of these speakers in just a minute. because Tara has been our insurance person for probably, 10 years?
Probably.
I thought USAA could not be beat. I thought that was the best home and auto you could get, because my brother-in-law was in the military, and my father-in-law was in the military, and my dad was in the military, so we qualified for USAA. So I didn't, the first couple of years, Tara didn't look at it. Finally, I said, okay, here's our declaration page. Take a look at it. She saved us $2,000 the first year. I mean, that's a vacation. That. And I couldn't believe it, because we've been paying USAA year after year after year, not thinking anything of it, and then all of a sudden, boom. So she's got our home auto, she's got our businesses, she's got my kids, both of my daughters, she's got their, insurance. And I'm gonna say, just like I said with Melinda, it's nice to know who you're working with.
Yes.
It's nice to know who's got your back. It's nice to know that you can call someone and say, hey, Tara, Chuck, would you look at this? So, I mean, I highly recommend Tara. So bring your declaration pages next month and just let her have it.
There you
That's
go.
all you do.
What's the name of the company?
It's called Associated Services and Insurance, ASI. And they're on AA in Green Valley. And go ahead.
I have to say something.
Okay.
Because you said it.
Yes.
I started with them in 1996. I
Oh.
graduated. Brad still loves
Yes.
me.
Yeah.
I told him he wants to get it. I've been in insurance for over 25 years.
Oh,
And
cool.
that's where so we're gonna be competing. But
But-
that's exactly what I do, is I look at every renewal, I
Good.
call our insureds, and I explain all the changes that
Yeah.
are happening.
As it
2%
should
we've been
be.
handling.
Yeah.
And I have that conversation. So when you said that,
Yeah.
and I know, we were on James Rollo.
Yes.
That's where I was
Yeah.
in 1996.
That was a long
Awesome.
time.
So that is just crazy.
Yes.
When they got started.
Yep.
Our third business that we're going to have talk tonight is my preacher.
Uh-oh.
I wanted him, because I always advertise for him. Every time he gets done speaking, I always tell everybody, and I don't do a real good job of it, but I wanted Tom to be able to do an infomercial on his church. All right?
Thank you, Chuck. Chuck actually does a better job of promoting our church than I do. Because I'm not by nature a promoter. But and you've heard Chuck over the years, and I think he's real gracious. He does come to church once in a while too, which is a real plus, since he's promoting. But anyway, our church is up on 7th Highway in Blue Springs, between the Salvation Army store and Petland, right there on the just on the south side of Blue Springs. And several of the folks in here attend the church, and really appreciate everybody. It's a small to medium-sized Bible teaching church. It's non-denominational, which means that we're bound by the Bible and not by a specific denominational viewpoint. So we teach straight out of Scripture, and we are very conservative, and I'm highly political, and I don't resist at key times bringing politics and showing how biblical principles connect with politics. I think any pastor that won't do that is missing a very large opportunity, and they're also failing to help educate their people in how to respond biblically to what's going on in our country. And I think that's very important. So I don't back down from that. I do occasionally get some criticism. I occasionally run people out of our church, not so much on purpose, but because of how I teach. And that's part of it. I mean, Jesus was that way. He didn't hold back from speaking the truth. And there's oftentimes people would hear him and then they'd walk away and they'd say, "That's not for me." And so, there's probably 50 churches in Blue Springs, and there's several of them are good Bible teaching churches. And I've got friends and actual family members that attend other churches in the area. So I'm not one of those that says we're the only church in town. But I will say this, the church is very important in our culture, and it's very important for conservative people, in my opinion, to have a spiritual and biblical basis for your conservatism. Because many of us are conservative on a lot of issues, but we may not really connect with where those conservative principles come from. And the thing I like about the scripture is, for example, Paul tells us in 1 Timothy chapter 3, he says that the church is actually literally the pillars and the support of the truth. And all the way back through history, it's the church that has taught and promoted and upheld godly biblical values in our culture. And so without the church, without the message of the gospel, and without churches that teach the gospel and the biblical broader scope of what Bible doctrine teaches, particularly our young people that are coming up are not going to know the basis for how to make right choices. They may be told how to make right choices by their parents, but they're not going to understand, okay, why? Why should we be conservative rather than being liberal and accept everything in our society? And so, it's very important that we have that basis. So I want to encourage you. What I've found in my years and years of ministry is that a lot of times older folks, they have been in church all their life, and when they get older, they kind of just chill out and say, been there, done that, and they don't go to church anymore. I just want to encourage you. Your grandkids are looking at that. You're setting an example. Even though you're not turning away from the gospel and living in sin, you're setting an example for your family and the generations that are under you. So stick in there. Even if you know it all already and nobody can teach you anything, go to church. Go to church anyway, because you're an example to your neighbors. Because the neighbor kids see you get up on Sunday morning and go to church. You're giving a testimony just by being consistent in your attendance at church. So those things are important. And I just wanted to say this: I might come to the fish fry on the 4th.
Don't say it.
But I'm allergic to crappie. So if you cook me some catfish or some bass.
This is the whitest and crispiest catfish you've ever had.
All right, and you can't cook it in the same oil as you cook the crappie, or my throat will swell up and I can't breathe. Oh, catfish? All right. I can eat catfish.
For years.
I can eat catfish. But yeah, I developed an allergy to crappie. Of all things, one of the best fish on the planet. I ate them for years, and then when I came back from the military and ate them after not eating them, I swelled up and almost died. So there you go. You never heard that. I know. Yeah. Pray for me. Maybe the Lord will heal me.
Just to reiterate what Tom said, if you don't have a church that is teaching the Bible the way it's written, you might need to find another church. And I'm not knocking the church you're going to, so don't even think that way. But I started going to Tom's church about 4 years ago. Tom and I worked together. I sell real estate, and Tom used to do radon detection in houses, and that's how we got to know each other really well. But I started going to his church, and I do go to Becky and I go to different churches together. So I go to her church when she wants me to go there, and then I go to Tom's church.
It's a good church, too.
It's a good church, too. Yes, it is. So, anyway, yeah.
Does Tom's church have a name on the front of it?
Tom's church.
It's called Summit Springs. Summit Springs.
My question, Dairy Queen.
Another question about his church. What time of services, and you talked about Jesus chasing people out of the church too. Do you do it the proper way with the rod and beat them, chasing them?
Sunday mornings, one service, 10:30.
Right.
Sunday mornings at 10:30, Summit Springs in Blue Springs. And his wife, Georgiana, gave me a call, or actually she sent me a really nice email about a year ago.
Yeah.
And she says, Chuck, most churches are falling in attendance but we're growing. And she goes, it's because of we the people. Because I go there and I'm looking around and, you know, I'm seeing all these people that come to the We the People meetings. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. And I love it. I love it. And I finally pay attention in church. You know, I'm 68 years old. And for the last 3 years, I listened to every word the man said. And I come up to him after the service and I said, can you condense that down to 5 minutes for next week's We the People? I think I can. So, all right, those are the 3 companies we wanted to promote tonight. Thank you all for doing that. I appreciate it. Melinda Clark Sand, you want to come up one more time?
Has this been around? Has everybody got
Has everybody had a chance to sign that? Okay, I've asked Melinda to speak one more time because she did the infomercial for her company, but she also has another thing she wants to talk about, and I wanted her to. So here we go.
I do. And I'm not going to be before you long. I'm just introducing an organization called Hope is Alive. And actually, Keely, can you come up for a second? I met this fabulous young lady. She was giving a presentation. It was like a networking group deal, and I heard her speak about a drug sobriety home that sounded like it actually could work. Like the foundation was Christ. They didn't just, bring people in like you do, like in a mill, like, oh, well, we're gonna get so many people in so we can get the state and federal funding, and we're just gonna give you a drug test, and we really don't care about transforming lives and people really being saved and getting clean. So when I heard her speak, like I wasn't there, I was there supposed to be promoting my business, but I'm not that great at that yet. So I was more engaged about what she was doing in her organization, so I chased her down. She was walking up and she was talking. I tried to wait politely, and she was having this conversation, and then she started to walk out the building, so I chased her down and said, I just feel like I want to be a part of this. Like, however we can partner with you and find out what you're doing. A little later on, she gave me a tour of the woman. So there's 2 homes here in the Kansas City area. One is a group home for women, and the other's for men. This group home, most of them, you guys know, as an attorney, and I've had a lot of clients that have had drug issues. Most of those homes are in the scariest neighborhoods that you ever want to think of. I mean, like, you don't want to go there at nighttime. And they don't look clean. They're not, I go into this beautiful suburban neighborhood. I'm thinking, how did they get the sobriety home in here? You know what I mean? And it was beautiful inside and out. I got to speak with the women personally who live there and who are learning and growing in Christ. And most importantly, they're getting clean and they're figuring out their value and who they are in Christ. It's just this amazing stuff. So I was emotional when I was there talking, and I was like, you guys are great. I'm going to help you guys find more people to know about you, so that we can figure out ways to partner with, when I tell you 25 years plus, I know so many programs don't work. They don't even give people enough time. They're out 30 days, you're in, you're out. This here, people can stay up to what?
27, however long it takes.
18, 27 months.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, anyway, without further ado, I'm going to let them take over, and then we also have Justin, who's going to give his testimony, very powerful. And last thing, I am recently married.
Congratulations.
So my bodyguard back there, Maurice, he doubles as my husband. So. But along with Lance, who was up here earlier talking, and Storm, and so many others who have these terrible stories about losing children to fentanyl poisoning. So my new husband has the same tragedy. He lost his son at 23 about 3 years ago from fentanyl. So it touches every walk of life. It doesn't see black, it doesn't see white, it doesn't see socioeconomic circumstances. And so that was another thing that was driving me here too, just to let you all know. So.
You didn't tell me that.
You didn't know that? Sorry.
Well, good evening. I have to be honest with you guys. My bra comes off about 8:30. I don't know. I thought we were done at 8 or something. But I will not keep you here all night. Sorry about that. I just got kicked out. No, I'm kidding. But my name is Keely Bobeck, and I am with Hope is Alive. And I just want to tell you, unfortunately, across the country, you know, as we've talked about loss tonight, it is happening everywhere. But the thing that we want to bring to you guys tonight is hope. There is hope after loss. There is hope after addiction, and there's hope in Christ. And so that's who we are. Hope is Alive, our mission is to radically change the lives of drug addicts, alcoholics, and those that love them. What you'll find in the world today is there are so many agencies and organizations that will give you a bed and a drug test, and you leave with a bag of pills and go get them tiger, and that is the farthest thing from who we are, and we're really proud about that. So a little bit about Hope is Alive. We have 26 homes in 6 different states across the country, and we are growing daily, and we're very, very proud of that. We have a lot of different entities. I will just tell you, I will put flyers over on the table. We'll be more than happy to come back anytime you guys would love to have us, and there are a lot of ways to be involved. But kind of a Cliff Notes version of what we do, our sober mentoring homes, like I said, are across the country. Our residents come into our homes, like Melinda said, they're very, very nice. We are intentional with everything. We believe that if we raise the bar and put our residents in homes and environments that they deserve to be in, it raises the bar naturally. They're proud, they're motivated, and it's a really intentional process, is what I'll say. Inside our homes, our residents work a 3-phase program. Phase 1, I call it adulting. We can all probably benefit from some of that. But I will tell you, we work on healing core wounds. We work on relationship restoration. Lots of our residents, unfortunately, may not have a valid driver's license. They may not have, taxes that have been owed and things that they have not adulted very well. And so we work with them, we partner with them to help them uncover that, to take care of it. And we're really, really proud of what it looks like to work with them. Phase 2, we work what's called CODA, y'all. I don't know if you've heard of these things called boundaries. I don't really have very many, but it's an important process. Zach's our program manager. He tells me about it all the time. He's like, "Ew, that's so CODA of you." I still don't know what he means. But anyway, we teach our residents about codependency, about different tactics with addiction, and that is the thing that I believe sets our program apart. A lot of programs you'll see, okay, you did drugs, you made a bad choice, you can't do that again. Well, that's not deep enough. And so what I will tell you is we help peel back the layers to why the addiction happened, family trauma, things like that, and it's a really powerful program. And then the third phase is our Give Back program. So I brought Justin, one of my friends from our men's home, and I was going to let him tell you guys a brief testimony, and then I'll tell you a little bit about how to get involved and ways that we can partner. So, Justin.
Awesome.
Rock and roll.
Thank you. As she said, I am Justin. I'm a resident and an intern program manager. I'm learning how to run one of the homes, actually. I've been in the home since October 10th of 2024. I started my recovery journey on July 13th of 2024. That is my sober date. I'm coming up on my year. I was born June 7th, 1994, so I will be 31 on Saturday, and this is the longest I've been sober since I was 15 years old. I started, my home life growing up was pretty normal. My biological father was always in prison. I didn't see him very much, except when my grandmother took me to go visit him. But I had a mom. She was a single mom for most of my life. She was a good mom. She was a little emotionally unavailable at times. She had her own depression, her own problems. But she met my stepdad, Cody, when I was 8 years old. Or they met when I was 7, they got married when I was 8. Cody was everything you could want in a stepdad, man. We lived in a small town in Texas, Dublin, Texas, like population 3,000. We had about 33 and a half acres. He showed me how to hunt, how to fish, how to live off the land, and how to be somewhat of a man at 8 to 16 years old. And I loved Cody. He was great. He was at all the ball games. He was the dad that I never had and that I always wanted. But unfortunately, when I was 16, my mom and him got divorced. My mom decided she did not love him. She just wanted me to have a dad, and she couldn't fake it anymore, and she was leaving. She was going to move to New Braunfels to figure her stuff out. And that left me with a choice in life. I can stay with this man who loves you to death, but at 16, I didn't really feel like I was his problem. He wasn't my real dad. I didn't want to be a burden on him. And so I moved to Southlake, Texas, which is a very nice public school in the Dallas-Fort Worth suburb. It's a suburb of Dallas-Fort Worth. I went from a town of population 3,000, where I was first in my class. I was going to graduate valedictorian, to big city, Dallas-Fort Worth. It was like, I don't know the population, but I know my graduating class went from 78 to 780. And it was a culture shock that at the time I couldn't take. And I had a decision to make in life. I could continue to try to excel at the academics and things like that in a school that's way outside my grade, Cowtown, USA. That was easy. That school was easy. This is a much bigger school, a much more prominent school. It was harder. And I didn't want to, I was alone there. I didn't have anybody in my corner. My aunt and uncle were there, but my uncle was gone all the time working. My aunt had her own pill addiction. They weren't really around. They didn't have very many rules. And so I decided to go the other way with my life. I decided that I'm not going to be the nerd anymore. I'm going to be the cool kid, quote unquote. At 16, that's what I thought. And I started drinking and smoking weed. That's where my story began. It quickly escalated. Dallas-Fort Worth in 2010, there were 17 and up clubs that you could go to when you were 17. They opened at 10 p.m. They didn't close till 8 a.m. And that's where I started using party drugs, ecstasy, things of that nature, cocaine, whatnot. I had done heroin and pretty much experimented in anything and everything that there was by the time I was 18 years old. By the grace of God, I'm still here today. I went on a very long time. As I said, I started at 15. I didn't get sober till 30. I went on a very long time of using. And this isn't a story of how I beat addiction. This is a story of how I find God and He led me out of addiction. Amen? This is where I did nothing. I had to step through the door, but God had to open it for me. I could not do it on my own, and that is what our program is all about. We cannot do it on our own. We need a higher power, we need Jesus, and we need each other. We need fellowship, and that's what Hope is Alive has given me. I went to a very nice rehab. I've been to a few of them. A few of them very nice, but I went to a very nice ranch rehab. It's awesome. There's horses. It's cool. I loved it. I did 90 days there, and they gave me a few options of sober living. They gave me, their sober living, which was outrageously expensive. Could not go there. They gave me another one that was called Stages of Recovery. It's in Lubbock, Texas. It was like a 15-week step-down period. It was more affordable. And then they gave me Hope is Alive. Hope is Alive was over a year long. I've been using and drinking for 15 years. I can't fix that in 15 weeks. I cannot change my way of thinking. I cannot find God when I've been running from Him for 15 years. In 15 weeks, it's not going to happen. I need more time. I need somebody to show me how to live because I can't do it on my own, and I've proven that over the years. So I was like, you know what? It's faith-based. It's extended. It's what I need. It may not be what I want, but it's what I need. And so I took a leap of faith. I applied. I got accepted. And the next thing I know, I'm in this beautiful home in Dallas, in Arlington, beautiful home, around guys that are helping me carry my luggage in and hugging me and telling me, I'm so glad you're here, welcome, brother, you know what I mean? And they're just showing me the love of Jesus that no one had shown me before in my life. And the rest is pretty much history, man. I was there for about 4 months. The guy that leads that home saw something in me, said, I think you'd be a great addition to the team. We'd like you to go to this boot camp in Oklahoma, learn how to do what I do and lead a home. I did that. The boot camp went well. They said, we like what we see. We're going to send you to Kansas City to go intern. I was like, but that's really far from my daughter. We'll work with you. I was like, all right. And I get to go see my daughter this weekend. She's 12 now. That's another thing I should mention. My daughter was, due to my drug and alcohol use, my daughter was taken from me for 3 years. And I didn't get to see her very much. I had to do supervised visitation. And for the entire time of her life up until now, even when I was there, I wasn't there. I was very vacant, and I was a very absent father. And now that baby girl has a dad that she loves and that is there for her and that she can count on. And that's my biggest accomplishment. But anyway, so now I'm here. I'm helping lead other guys out of the same depths of darkness that I once dwelled, and it's a beautiful thing. Jesus has done things in my life that I could never envision for myself, things that I didn't think were possible. And I'm standing here today, a walking miracle. I've had my own overdoses. I had one that was very bad. It almost took my life. My mom found me. It was very bad. But by the grace of God, I'm here. And all I can think is God. Anyway, thank y'all. That's all.
Yeah, thank you, Laura. It's really nice to be in front of perfect strangers and I think you're perfect. Now that we're all crying. So anyway, so that's a little snippet of Hope is Alive and what I get to be a part of every single day. And it's pretty powerful. So ways to be a part. I want to tell you guys there's a couple different things. So we have our sober living homes. That's what Justin and 230 residents across the country are a part of. Our women's home is here in Gladstone. That's what Melinda's visited. And then these guys are part of our Kansas City home. So it is in the Overland Park area. So Zach is in the back. You can give him a high five before you leave too. He's honorary and awesome. But outside of our sober living homes, we also have Finding Hope support groups. Lance and Allie Lang are our founders. We've been around for 13 plus years. And what we found is when we would set up at church lobbies, when we would tell people about what we were doing, it wasn't the addicts that were coming up to tables. It was the loved ones who had someone who was struggling, or they had a spouse that they didn't know what to do with, and they were in the depths of addiction themselves, but there was no hope for them. So we have Finding Hope support groups. There are hope groups all over the country. They're online, they're in person. So the biggest thing I would just love to leave with you guys today is, if you know anyone that is struggling, I would encourage you. We'll put business cards over on the table. Melinda knows how to get a hold of me. But man, we would love to partner with you at any stage of addiction, whether it's a loved one, a spouse, someone that you know. We really can help anybody, and that's our heart tonight. There are ways to be a part. We're always looking for meal providers. Toilet paper is like liquid gold around our homes. So if you guys want to do some kind of pantry drive for us, that would be a huge blessing. We're also looking for men and women in the community who have a trade, a skill set, or something like that to come and speak and just pour into our men and women. So there's a lot of ways to be a part of this, and we would love to partner with you guys in that. So thank you for having us tonight.
It doesn't matter how down you get or what situation you're in. There's always hope. And we just heard a testimonial that told us exactly. The door opened for him and he walked through it. And we all have, we're all in families. We all have people that we're working with and we know about, and we just need to reach out and hug them and help them out the best way we can. Introduce them to hope is alive, you know. It was wonderful, and I appreciate you telling us your story. That's hard to do. It's hard to do, but look where you are now. I know we're gonna. I'm going to have 2 or 3 more people speak to finish this up tonight, but I wanted to brag a little bit. I got a different kind of gun here on my hip. It's a cool gun. It really is. It's got the presidential seal on it. It's got the living legend, 45 on one side. It's got 47 on the other. And it's my kind of gun. It shoots 410 shells, which is a shotgun. It also shoots 45 Colt. So, it's a cool gun. If anybody wants to see it after the meeting, I'm gonna have it up here.
that's cool.
I told the guy I got it from, he's a friend of mine, he closed his gun shop up on Nolan Road a few years ago, or a few months ago. Terrace was an insurance agent there too, but, I told him I was gonna show this gun. And if anybody wants a Trump gun, I got the guy that can get it for you.
All right.
So, after the meeting, you want to take a look at it, I'll take the shells out of it, you know. You gotta have the shells in it now, you know, it's you know, when you're carrying, you gotta have it. You know?
Right.
I don't want anybody to freak out with there's a few guns in the room. I don't want anybody to freak out. We're just safe people. We're sensible people. I always tell people, I said, if anything terrible happens, I'm either going to die a hero or I'm going to live as a hero because I'm in on it. I'm in on it.
Amen.
If someone, you know, it doesn't matter if I'm in a restaurant or if I'm in wherever it is, you know, I will be the one going toward it. Because that's just the way I am. And I told my kids through school, I said, don't start the fight. But if it starts, you're in it. And it might not be great advice from a parent, but I don't want anybody to cower down or anybody to, you know, anyway. Don't need to get into that whole thing. But, I wanted to ask Carol and Kate to come up front, and I also want John Butler to come up front and kind of give us an update on what's going on in the state and in the county. Come on up, guys. Local, we've got to focus on local. We have got to do better locally. And this man right here is the president of the Republican Party here in Jackson. We saw build the bench last year. Did a great job getting candidates to run and getting them elected. But and he's my friend. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me. Okay, random question. Who in this room plays golf? Okay, Lance already got you down. Thanks to Billy Peterson.
Okay, who's gonna
Billy Peterson, your team captain.
You're a team captain.
So you're in.
My team's in it.
Yeah, your team's in it. So June 20th, which is a Friday morning, we're going to have our second annual Jackson County Republican Party Golf Tournament. It's a great opportunity. As of right now, we've got 26 teams, so about 104 golfers, and we've got probably 4 other teams on the horizon. But a couple of our teams have lost their 3rd and 4th golfers, so we've had some injuries. Since February, we've been trying to. So we need some free agents. Anybody that's interested, come see me afterwards. We're also looking for additional sponsors. We've got about 12 sponsors, and it's $500 to sponsor a hole, $1,000 to be presenting or a championship sponsor. And we definitely can use a few more if anybody's interested. So you've got book a business. If you want to promote your business, this is a great opportunity. You'll have a lot of like-minded people that'll be there, plus a couple dozen volunteers, and it's a great opportunity to connect and have some fun.
What golf course?
It is a Winterstone golf course that was built by our friend Jeff Porter's company, and great facility. So I've heard nothing but great things about it. So I think I'm missing. Yes.
Is this info on the jacomo.gop?
Yes, it's on our website. All the details will be at jacomo.gop. And
I
just
had
get in touch.
golfed in it last year. It was a great little tournament, and it's going to be bigger and better this year.
Yeah, and easier. I think we got more time. We'll run more.
Winterstone's a great park for golf too. It really is.
So that's coming up here real quick here. We as a group meet the 4th Monday of every month. Our next meeting is June 23rd. It takes place at our new facility, which is Bridge Space in downtown Lee Summit, 210 Southwest Market. It's also on our website. It's a great opportunity to get on the ground floor. We have Build a Bench at 6 p.m., led by Josh Hill, who's with us tonight. And then 7 p.m. is when we take care of our general business. And we're going to get to a point where we staff that, where people can come in the Lee Summit area. But I gotta say, yesterday I had a great time with another new group that I think you're gonna talk about, right? Okay. I don't want to steal your thunder. Okay. But it's at our old facility, and it is the Western Missouri GOP. We're blessed with a lot of great groups. And I think what they've done is fortify Blue Springs. And let's face it, Jackson County is 600 square miles. So who knows, if we keep having successful fundraisers, perhaps we can have locations that are storefronts that people can visit throughout Jackson County. Maybe have one in Independence. I'm thinking ahead here, but getting the cart before the horse. But as we get closer and closer to 26, which is a major focus of ours, this could be a great opportunity for us. So, just the big thing we were focused on, of course, is getting ready for 2026. We need volunteers. We need candidates that are qualified candidates. If you know people that are interested in running, if you're interested in getting involved on the ground floor of campaigns, now's the time to do that. And so please check us out. It's the fourth Monday of every month. We'd love to have you. They're definitely open to the public. So thank you.
Our very own Caroline King.
Yeah!
One of the hardest working.
Everything.
Well, one of the best door knockers.
Oh, yeah.
One of the best. I mean, she never said no. She went after it, and she got elected. She got someone out of there that didn't need to be in there anymore. And we have got someone on our side now that is kicking butt and taking names.
Yes. Yes.
I am much more comfortable with public speaking than I am public singing. So, I'm so a little bit about what happened in Jeff City as far as the House side. There were over 1,700 bills filed. We actually truly agreed to pass, I believe it was 67 out of there. And I am very blessed that out of that, 4 of them were mine.
Yeah.
The biggest bill that I am proud of that's going to affect all of us, and we're going to need statewide help, but my HCR 23 combined with Jeff Coleman's 3, and it will be on a statewide ballot to make Jackson County Assessor an elected position. So a couple bills that were filed that did not pass that Ron Fowler and I both are going to be working very hard on next year. He proposed a bill that would hold the county accountable to the State Tax Commission for any directives given by them, and if they do not comply, then the county sales tax can be withheld. It's got some teeth.
Yeah.
That would hold Jackson County accountable to that. And then I also filed a bill, it did not make it, and I will file it again as well, but it takes it another step further in the fact that if you appeal and you win, either with the Board of Equalization or with the State Tax Commission, then you get reimbursed for any appraisal costs that you had incurred. You also are to be reimbursed within 30 days, and if not, you earn interest. And in addition, they are required to show proof of how they determine your assessed value. If they cannot prove that, and if they cannot provide an actual physical inspection, lawful physical inspection, then your assessment is void and reverts back to its original one. So I will be refiling that one as well. A couple of bills that were near and dear to my heart that didn't make it through were one is for if you are a poll worker or a judge at a poll during election day and for training, your compensation will be Missouri tax exempt. So, and I will also be working with Alford on that to try to get the federal done as well. And then also, I put an amendment onto a bill to cap insulin at $35 and supplies at $100. So I will be refiling that one. So I get a lot of my ideas from folks like you. So if you have an idea, and it may be something very simple, if you have an idea or a suggestion, please come see me, email me, call me. I would love to hear from you because that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to represent you. I'm working in Jefferson City for you. So I please come talk to me. Yes.
Carol, we got anywhere on the special session, and they're going to be able to bring the.
Okay, so actually, I'll give you an update on that. So the Senate started today on their special session. There were 17 Senate bills filed, 7 Senate joint resolutions filed, and 2 resolutions. They convened for less than an hour, and that was it. So the battle is on, and that will start tomorrow. The House doesn't go back officially until the 9th, which is also very unusual. Normally, when there's a special session, the House and the Senate are both in session. So us not being called until next week tells us they're expecting this to be a pretty contentious week. But we are on standby in case something should happen because committees cannot meet unless the House is in session. So we're kind of on standby. And then two last things real quick. So community, I love that word. So my church is hosting a community garage sale on Saturday the 21st. Free space, all you need to do is bring your tables, chairs, tents, whatever you want. Pass the word. If you have items and you don't want to have an actual table or booth, if you'd like to donate them, we will use that money to serve Wednesday night meals at my church. But we don't want to make it about my church. We want to make it about community. So if you're interested, I have flyers, come see it. Lastly, I'd like Teresa to come up with me. And John Butler mentioned to you about our Western Missouri GOP. We had our grand opening yesterday.
Yeah.
How many people did we have?
Oh my gosh, 150?
It was close, anywhere between 100 and 150. They came and go, but we grilled burgers and hot dogs and vegetables.
Oh, she's a great griller.
Yeah.
She sings and grills.
Yeah. But we had fun. And the main thing we want to make you know is it's not just about Jackson County.
Oh, right. We have all these conservative groups. Moms Against Fentanyl, we had the posters on that. We the People, we've got information on the people of Jackson County. The Pachyderms.
How many counties of people were there?
Yeah, we have Clay, Platte, Jackson, Lafayette, Johnson, Cass.
All those people from all those counties were there. So we want to do something big. And we want to partner with every single club and the committees, because this is a joint effort to get our word out in any way we possibly can. So if you'd like to make a donation to help us keep that going, and also we've got some really killer Trump merchandise. You've got to come see it. It's really awesome. So.
Volunteers are awesome. Yeah, we're having a great volunteer.
So that's Western Missouri GOP. .com.
Any other special announcements? What time is it? It is 8:53.
All right, we're done.
Don't get up, we're staying here till 9.
Can I take my bra?
I just wanted to let you know, at our fish fry, it will not be braless. We just can't go there.
No. And put the chairs away.
We had a lot of information tonight.
Yeah.
And it was a good evening, and I appreciate each and every one of you. We the people we're gonna make some great changes in community. We're gonna become well known throughout the community of people that are wanting to come here to be around us, that are wanting to come here to be with us, that are wanting to come here to hear the truth, to be sensible. Use the word sensible. Use it a lot. Instead of conservative, use the word sensible, because that's who we are. Right?
Yes,
right.
Absolutely.
I appreciate you guys. Be safe. We'll talk to you later.